Good afternoon, friends. My name is Erica Erickson, and I'm the founder and president of Playa Animal Welfare Services, a nonprofit animal rescue that saves cats and dogs from the streets of Puerto Rico. In my last video, I was telling you about how 15 Puerto Rico police officers kicked down my door in the pitch black with an invalid search warrant that was never signed by a judge. They didn't knock or announce themselves before kicking down my door and swarming into my bedroom as I slept in the dark. And they did not execute this warrant during daylight hours as required by law and stated on the first page of the search warrant. They spent the entire day at my house, taking all of the cats from my rescue, all of our property, our cages, over 20 bags of brand new food, over 12 cases of canned food, medicines, documents, money, everything you can imagine. They just took it and left. Within a week, over 20 of my cats were dead. They didn't get proper care, and they're still not getting proper care now, 8 months later. When the police seize your property, they're supposed to file within 90 days to get a court order to legally seize and confiscate your property. To this day, over 8 months later, they still have never gotten a seizure and confiscation order. Not to mention the complete search warrant was illegal to begin with. I've received nothing from the police or prosecutors following this illegal raid and seizure of my property. So as I said in my last video, we finally had a court date for April 29th, after the prosecutor already got it moved back from April 22nd because she was not prepared and she was going on vacation. So I flew to Puerto Rico last week for this hearing where finally I thought we could finally get the cats back and the rest of the property. But instead, as we're all sitting there, me, my lawyer, the judge, the prosecutor, we're all sitting there 8 months after the police kicked down my door and illegally took my cats and property. And what does the prosecutor say? She needs more time. She hasn't had enough time to prepare. Well, I think you should be prepared on the day that you send the police to kick down my door in the dead of night and take my property. You should have been prepared on that day to justify why you were taking my cats and property. You couldn't justify it that day, and now 8 months later, you still are not prepared to justify these illegal actions of the police. And yet, you're fighting me, trying to prevent me from getting my cats and property back when you know they were illegally seized in the first place and I've done nothing wrong. And I've still not been charged with any crimes. So at the hearing, the prosecutor whined. She's not prepared. She needs more time. She'd already responded to our lawsuit demanding the cats back with her nonsensical reply that the cats were not seized and therefore search and seizure law does not apply in this case. Well, what do you call it? At least here in America, when the police come to your house with a search warrant and take your property has been seized, confiscated, impounded, whatever you want to call it. But here, the prosecutor is saying none of those things. Nope, they're not seized, they're not impounded, not confiscated. Well, what are they? She's saying that I don't have a legal right to go to court to request and demand my property back that was illegally seized because it was not seized. Well, what was it? Stolen? We can go with that because that's what I call it. When the police kick down your door in the dead of night, take everything you own and disappear with no further follow-up whatsoever, that's exactly what I call it. Stolen. They're thugs. They kicked down the door with no legal right, took everything I own and disappeared. I've not been charged with a crime. They've not given me a court date to get my property back. They've not filed a confiscation order for them to legally seize the property. And yet now, 8 months later, that I finally get a court date, they're not prepared. They're not prepared to tell a judge why I can't have my cats back. Because if that's their argument, that the property wasn't seized and search and seizure laws don't apply, I'd like to know what law does apply. This is America. And in this exact situation, the Fourth Amendment applies. The Fourth Amendment protects American citizens against unlawful searches and seizures by the government, the police, against these exact scenarios. The Fourth Amendment applies in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is part of America, whether they like it or not, whether they want to admit it or not, whether they want to follow our laws or not. They're required to do so. Apparently nobody is holding them accountable because they get away with this left and right. There's a 2013 Department of Justice court order against the Puerto Rico police to address these exact scenarios that have been going on for all of time in Puerto Rico. This isn't a new phenomenon. 2013, over 10 years ago, this order was filed demanding police reform in Puerto Rico due to systemic and ongoing violation of the rights of innocent citizens. People like me, who are sleeping in my bed, committing no crimes, and the police kick down your door and take everything you own because they feel like it. And because they have no consequences. The exact police captain in charge of the raid on my house, back in 2009, he got a $6.7 million verdict against him for a similar illegal search and seizure. What happened to this guy in 2009? Was he fired? No, apparently not. He was promoted. The Puerto Rico police promoted a police officer who got a $6 million verdict against him for violating the Fourth Amendment rights of citizens. Think about it. You know, I always hear, oh, there's a few bad apples, this and that. No, there's not. When the whole police force rallies to protect dirty cops, the whole police force is corrupt. And something's got to be done because this 106-page settlement order from 2013 is not being enforced, it's not being followed, and no one's holding them accountable. So they continue to do this. So, as I was saying, I had a hearing. Prosecutor whined. She's not prepared. Judges give deference to the police and prosecutors. Not uncommon throughout America in general in that regard. And so now I have a hearing moved back to June 3rd to get my cats back. And the prosecutor, she needed more time to prepare her response to my lawyer shooting down all her nonsense arguments about my cats not being seized and search and seizure not applying in this case. My lawyer wrote a 6-page rebuttal of her nonsense, and you can see it on my link tree. The link will be in the description for this video. And so what did this prosecutor need more time for? She had 8 days to mill over my lawyer's responses to her bogus arguments. And what does she submit to the court? The exact same thing that she'd already submitted to the court, saying that my cats were not seized and search and seizure law doesn't apply. It's a game. They're playing a game. They got my hearing to get my cats back moved out over a month so she could just resubmit the same argument she already made back on March 1st, 2 months ago. They don't care, and they get away with it. So now I got court June 3rd. Hopefully I can get my cats back. But in the meantime, here's their new strategy. My lawyers on day 1 told me, Erica, if you fight the police to get your cats back, they're going to arrest you. And I said, for what? I've not committed any crime. Let them arrest me. They want to bring me to court and charge me. They got to have proof that I committed a crime, which I have not done. I rescue sick and injured cats from the streets. They want to kick down my door and act appalled that I have sick animals at my house? Yeah, I do. They're sick animals that used to be on the street, and now they're at my house getting proper care, which I have full documentation of, tens of thousands of dollars in vet bills, before pictures, after pictures, witnesses, the people who've brought me these animals in horrendous condition who are grateful for my help, because the Puerto Rico government continues to violate the Animal Welfare Act of Puerto Rico. that the Puerto Rico government put into place in 2008, which requires that every municipality in Puerto Rico provide animal services. My town, Añasco, provides 0 animal services. The next town over, Rincon, 0 animal services. 95% of municipalities on the island, 0 animal services. And in fact, I've been watching the news this week in Puerto Rico. 3 separate companies have been hired to exterminate the cats and dogs from the streets of Puerto Rico. The Puerto Rico government has an untold number of contracts with private companies. And this week alone, I've seen 3 of these contracts where they pay private extermination companies $200 to $300 per cat, dog, kitten, and puppy that these exterminators can round up from the streets and kill. The Puerto Rico government is paying exterminators to round up animals and kill them. They don't check to see if these animals have owners. They go into urban housing areas and collect animals that may well and probably do have owners. Where do they take these animals? It's not disclosed. You get home from work, your cat or dog's gone. You got no idea that the government sent an exterminator to pick it up. You don't get notice. There's not a note on your door saying we took your animal, it's impounded. Since 95% of municipalities don't even have an animal shelter, you have no idea where to even look for this animal. Where are they going? Where are they taking them? Are they holding them for the legally required stray hold period to give the owners the legal chance to reclaim their animal? No, they're not. These companies are getting paid $300 an animal to round them up and kill them indiscriminately. Doesn't matter, sick, healthy, owned, microchipped, collars, doesn't matter, they're being rounded up and killed. While at the same time, the Puerto Rico government gives no money to animal rescues. Do you know how many nonprofit animal rescues would gladly accept $200 to $300 per animal to go pick them up off the street, to get them vet care, to get them spayed and neutered and find them loving homes? It's complete nonsense. The Puerto Rican government would rather pay private companies $300 per animal to exterminate them than to give 1 dime to nonprofit rescues who are here to save these animals. And to take it a step further, not only does the Puerto Rico government not support nonprofit animal rescues, they show up at your house in the pitch black, kick down your door, take your animals, and refuse to give them back to you. Why? Why do they want my cats? They're gonna kill them. The only reason they haven't killed them all yet is because they're under a court custody, supposedly. I don't know what even you want to call it, but they know that I'm here and I'm watching and I'm not going away. This has happened to numerous other rescues on the island. Independent rescuers saving animals from their home, doing what they can because they can't stand to sit back and do nothing and watch these animals dying in ditches, getting run over by cars, getting poisoned because the police publicly tell the citizens, put out Tres Pasitos poison. That'll take care of the strays in your neighborhood. All sanctioned by the government, while the government shows up and steals animals from nonprofit rescues that are doing the job the government is failing to do and which they are lawfully required to do. And the best they can do is pay hundreds of dollars per animal to have them rounded up and killed. Unbelievable. We don't know where my cats are. At this hearing, my lawyer demanded to know where the cats are because if the police kick down your door and take your property, it has to be under government control, supervision, impoundment somewhere, but it's not. They handed off 82 cats to a woman with literally 0 cat experience. She's a single mother with 2 small children. She works full-time as a nurse. She's now 6 months pregnant, and she supposedly has 50 rescue horses that she cares for. Is it any wonder 20 of my cats died within the first week of her care? It was a full-time endeavor for me to care for these cats, and you hand them off to someone whose time is already completely full? And now I ask for them back? All these cats have owners. They were all adopted. They all had flights to the US when the police kicked down the door and took them. I have hundreds of people who will tell you, we've got 7,000 followers on Facebook for our rescue. We were flying cats off the island 3 times a week. In the month of September, when they seized my cats, we had 12 flights already booked and paid for 48 of those cats that were seized to go to their adopters who'd already paid their adoption fee, already paid for their flight, completed the adoption contract. But now, instead of going to loving homes 8 months ago, they're languishing and dying in cages with some horsewoman who doesn't have the time of day to even get them proper care. But yet the government's fighting to give them back to me. And what happens if I don't get them back? They go to the exterminators. These beautiful cats that I've already had spayed, neutered, vaccinated, they have adopters waiting for them, they're going to be killed. That's how the Puerto Rico government handles the animal problem. I need your help. I have a hearing now, June 3rd, to try to get the cats back. The government has no case to keep them. And I hope that our judge sees through the lies and is upstanding, not corrupt, not answering to the corrupt criminal police and prosecutors, and he does the right thing and returns my cats. In the meantime, I have another court date. May 14th. The prosecutor who has illegally seized my cats, is illegally continuing to possess my cats, illegally refusing to return my cats to me, has now given me a court date where I have to go to Puerto Rico on May 14th to be arrested and charged with crimes that he refuses to tell me or my lawyer what they are. Excuse me, last time I checked, we're in America. You don't have secret trials, clandestine court dates where you have to show up and be ambushed with whatever the prosecutor might decide to charge you with. In America, we have due process. That means I have the legal right to prepare for court, to face the charges against me, to know what the charges are against me, so that my lawyer and I can prepare to go to court. Instead, I got this summons to show up in court to maybe be arrested and maybe be charged with an unknown number and type of crimes. I mean, this is clear retaliation for me filing the case to get my cats back and for speaking out against the corruption of the Puerto Rican police and the Puerto Rican government. It's been over 8 months since they kicked down my door with their illegal search warrant and took my animals and my property. I've not been charged with a crime, but now that I'm demanding my cats back and calling out their illegal activities, now I have this secret court date where they won't even tell me what I'm supposedly going to be charged with. But the prosecutor on the phone told my lawyer that I'm going to be charged with over 100 separate criminal charges. For what? Rescuing cats? What are you going to charge me with? Taking sick cats off the street, getting them treatment? Yeah, sounds like a crime if your whole policy is to pay an exterminator $300 to round them up and kill them. I guess maybe my plan is getting in the way of their plan, making them look bad. And that's what this is about. A big part of this is racist. You know what the Puerto Rico government hates? They hate when people from the mainland go to Puerto Rico and try to help solve their problems that they are failing to address themselves. There's huge resentment. The number of times in Puerto Rico that I've been called a white savior, we don't need your help, white savior. Go back where you came from. Well, I'm sorry, you appear to need my help because there's animals dying all over these streets that you're doing nothing about other than killing them and letting them suffer. I'm here along with other rescuers trying to help, and yet it's go back where you came from. We don't want you here. And And that's why I have this court date. How many Puerto Ricans do you think are brought into court for anything, any crimes pertaining to animals? I haven't seen a lot. I saw 2 stories in the news last month where men shot puppies and killed them, and no charges were brought. How about the Puerto Rican police officer that's telling everybody to just go ahead and put out poison for the animals in direct violation of Puerto Rico criminal law? Where's that guy? Has he been charged? Does he have a secret court date where they might or might not arrest him or charge him with a crime? No, he doesn't. This is an extreme abuse of prosecutorial power. This is harassment. This is vindictive prosecution. The prosecutor knows there's no legal search warrant. The prosecutor knows they never had probable cause to kick down my door in the first place. The prosecutor knows I've committed no crime. But I had the courage to speak out, to fight, and demand my cats back. I'm not walking away from those cats. The number of people that told me, Erica, just let it go. If you go back there, you're going to be arrested. Just, it's not worth it. To me, it is. That's how I live my life. I rescue these animals. I'm not turning my back on them. I don't care what these criminal cops and prosecutors want to threaten me with. I'm going back, I'm getting my cats, and their threats of these bogus criminal charges and arrest, they're not going to stop me. I mean, the last time I checked, this is America, and in America, the police don't come kick down your door in the dead of night, steal everything you own, and disappear. And that's what happened here. They did not give me any sort of a process to get my cats back. They won't tell me where my cats are. They didn't have a legal search warrant. They never filed to confiscate them. They won't tell me where they are. And now, 8 months later, because I finally get my day in court to try to get my cats back, and they're gonna look like the lying, corrupt, criminal thugs that they are, oh, now we better charge her. We gotta take care of this woman. Can you believe her? Who does she think she is? You know how many times I've heard that? Plenty. Plenty, not just in Puerto Rico. I need your help. If you believe that America and the Constitution are important, if you believe the police cannot just kick down your door in the dead of night and steal everything you own with no search warrant and no probable cause and no criminal charges, if you care that the 60 remaining cats are going to be dead if they're not returned to me, if you care that people can supposedly in Puerto Rico be hauled into court and not even told why they're being hauled into court, to be ambushed with unknown types and numbers of criminal charges, does any of this sound like America to you? It sure doesn't sound like America to me. Not the America I love, not the America I'm proud to be a part of. I need your help. I need you to take this video, forward it to your congressman, forward it to your local news channels. Once the news sees what's happening, that in Puerto Rico they ignore the Constitution, kick down your door in the dead of night, steal everything you own with impunity, and there's nothing you can do about it, and then they tell you the search and seizure law doesn't apply here. Well, what law does apply? Do any laws apply in Puerto Rico? What are our protections for innocent citizens? Please, friends, send this to every news channel you can think of. Send it to every politician you know, your city council, your congressman, your governors. Somebody needs to see this who has the power to take action. I can't do this alone, and that's what they're counting on. The Puerto Rico government thinks I'm this white American woman all by myself, and nobody's gonna know, and nobody's gonna hear about this, and nobody's gonna help me. And this could be any of you. Anyone that goes to Puerto Rico. on vacation, or if you go there as a snowbird, if you have family there. This happens to Puerto Ricans as well. This isn't only a racist issue. There's plenty of racism in my case, but the number of innocent Puerto Rican rescuers that I know that this has happened to, who've had the police show up, take their animals and kill them. No search warrant, no court order, no due process. That's how they operate. And there's never a consequence for them, ever. The police have no consequence in Puerto Rico for their illegal behavior. And that's been called out by the Department of Justice, by the FBI, CIA, DEA. They're constantly busting corrupt cops in Puerto Rico, and the system doesn't change. So please, send this video to every politician, every news channel you can think of. The word needs to get out. We need justice. Thank you.